Welcome back, everybody. We have a next panel discussion on the topic, the Green Revolution, promoting sustainability in private label food and non-food. To moderate the same, I would like to invite on stage, once again, none other than Mr. Nilesh Lele, President CASMB. Ladies and gentlemen, a huge round of applause for Mr. Nilesh Lele. I thought the energy needs to be a little more after lunch. Come on. I would like to invite our panelist on stage, Mr. Irmia Katamgari, Assistant Director, FSSAI. Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a huge round of applause for him, please? Next, I would like to invite on stage none other than Mr. Gaurav Gambhir. Ladies and gentlemen, a huge round of applause for him, Managing Director, Shubh Food Products. Thank you so much, Gaurav, for being here with us. I can't hear you. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, a huge round of applause for them. Nilesh, over to you.
Hello. Thank you very much. So I hope post-lunch could be good and bad. Some of you might be sleepy and some of you have the energy. So we have a great set of panel or set of people here, and I would like to say both of them are good friends. I've known them for many, many years. And we'll get two different angles today. One from Mr. Gambhir, who is a third-party manufacturer or co-packer for a lot of big brands, especially in a unique product, probably 100% imported, almost 100% imported. And I know it's a family business. I think from his great-grandfather or great-grandfather it's been happening. So we'll hear about his story. And also we have Mr. Irmia, who's from FSSAI. So the regulatory part of things. I think in the earlier session we heard about a lot of innovations that are going to happen in packaging. And I was talking to sir during lunch that people are talking about edible packaging, people are talking about active packaging. But what about the regulations? What about the food safety angles to it? Right? So I'm sure most of you are interested to know that. So I would like to first invite Mr. Irmia. You're okay? I think you, okay. To walk us through the regulations, the packaging regulations. Sir, I know you have a presentation. You can take over and maybe touch upon some of the newer changes in the packaging and what the new age packaging things that are going to happen. Maybe you can also touch upon them.
Well, good afternoon. It is my pleasure and honor to be here to talk about this packaging regulation. I think it is a very thanks for the opportunity given by the Nilesh sir, and yeah, it is very important, and many people they have very confusion, and many people they are not aware of this. There is new packaging regulation has come. It is active in the country, and we need to be abide those regulations. So the packaging industry, they have been manufacturing different, I think you might have heard morning session, the different packaging technology or different packaging materials are manufactured, but still without any regulation in the country, so they were using. But still they were abiding with some of the national, international, some of the standards. But now in our country, so now this packaging regulation, now it is active now. So it is implemented. So now any material being manufactured, which is meant for the food packaging, so it is mandatory to comply the packaging regulation. So then whenever we think about the regulation, So many people, they think that regulation, oh, we can't read it. We can't understand it. So maybe some legal advisory may be needed. Maybe some experts, they can explain us. But this packaging regulation, not only packaging regulation, but many major regulations of the FSSAI is very simple. That's why today just my target is to take you through the packaging regulation. I think after this session, maybe you will love to read and look at the packaging regulation. Then you will be able to explain, or you can understand completely what is there in the packaging regulation, what is the requirements, so what are the some challenges are there, or quality parameters regarding the packaging material. I think when I go through the packaging the slides, so some of the things I will be adding wherever it is needed, some technical inputs. So now today just I'll brief you about this introduction and Indian regulation, then global regulation. So my main focus is the Indian regulation, which is nothing but FSSAI packaging regulation. So but still for your information, I will just touch upon the what is the global regulation related to the packaging material, then EU. So what is the need of the packaging regulation? So I think now, so before 2011, there was no regulation regarding the packaging. So what is the regulation is needed? Because the regulation is always, it is needed when there is some harm, there is some risk, or there is some something is we need to take care of it, or there is some risk is there. So since the packaging is a new technology, and it is very important, and it plays a big role in the world, irrespective of the different sector of the food goods, or food or any goods. So that's why it is important, because the packaging also carries some of the harm, or some of the toxic substances, some of the migration problems are there. So due to which there is a risk, because the packaging is come into contact with the food packaging, food. So there is though the food is manufactured in the very good hygiene condition, but still, due to packaging, your food may contaminate it. So that's why some regulation is needed, because you cannot use any kind of material, like for morning you've been listening to the aseptic packaging, modified atmospheric packaging, controlled atmospheric packaging, vacuum packaging. So any technology we use it. So whatever the packaging material we use it, so it has to be certain quality, and it has to meet safety parameters. Then the packaging, as per this regulation, so it ensures that, so what is the packaging we use it, material. So it has to be safe and suitable for the product. So I think it's very important. Yeah, I think. So it is very important. See, as per this regulation, see, now I am taking you through the regulation, so very quickly. So all this packaging regulation, it covers this. Then you can, one more important thing is that, so the packaging regulation earlier, it was along with the labeling and packaging regulation 2011. So again, so that packaging has been given more importance. So that's why again they have segregated, taken away from the labeling regulation. Now that same regulation has divided into 3 parts: packaging regulation, labeling regulation, then advertisement and claims. So now it is active. So yeah, you can see this, some of the definitions given in the packaging regulation. So when we open the packaging regulation, so this is the first how you start the regulation. Some of the definitions. Packaging material means any material, cardboard, paper, glass, metal, any form, Either it is a foam, film or sheet. So it is considered as a packaging material. Then food grade. Yeah, this is a very important key area where I need to press upon. So food grade. Many in the packaging sector, many people they talk about the food grade certificate of the packaging material. So many people they say that yes, if you do the migration study, so that is a food grade. But as per this packaging regulation, so I think since out of many thousands, the few people are sitting here, so I think you should get something out of this time. So food grade means here is simply you can see that what are the packaging material you use it, it has to be safe and suitable for their intended use. So where it is going to be used, so with that condition, either it may be storage or transportation at the consumer level. So it has to be suitable. It's not like that one polythene, any bottle you have manufactured. For example, here I just want to give you ready to eat. Nowadays, that ready to cook, the biryani or pulao packets are there. So there that aluminum pouch is there or some trays are there. So consumer is picking the packets from the supermarket at normal temperature. So what are the packaging material is at normal temperature, it seems very good. But so what about the condition where that it is the consumer is going to put that aluminum pouch into the boiling water for 10 or 15 minutes? Means that packaging material is going to be exposed to the high temperature. So that is the intended use, not in the supermarket at normal temperature AC. So at 100 temperature, so your material has to be suitable or safe also. The another thing is that in the, so your material, you should not change the composition of the food product or properties of the food. So when you confirm that your packaging material is not going to alter any properties of the food, so then only it is called a food grade material. So I think for your information, just I'll give you some few tests. Migration test alone can't give the food grade certificate. Along with the migration, shelf life also, it declares that as your packaging material is not altering your property or qualities of your product, food. So that is the food grade. So this is where you can get more. So multi-layer food packaging, that everybody knows it. Then the primary packaging, secondary packaging, I think everyone knows it. So this is the some general requirement. There is two requirements, general and specific. The general requirements, you can see it. What are the packaging material you use it? It shall be accordance with this regulation. So whatever material, either it is a paper, metal, glass, or wherever you use it, whether it is a cap or map, or wherever it is, it has to be comply with this regulation. Now it is active. It has to comply. Then it has to withstand the chemical, all the properties. As I said, I'll give an example. What are the material you are using for the ready to cook packets? So it has to be withstand with the high temperature or high pressure. So then it has to be conform with the regulation. There are 4 schedules are there. Schedule 1, Schedule 2, Schedule 3. It is meant for the quality parameters of the packaging material. The Schedule 4 is the some of the, maybe you can say that it is a guidelines for the selection of the packaging material for the different food products. So now we can see this. This is the Schedule 1, Schedule 2, Schedule 3. It is a paper and paperboard material, the Schedule 1. What is the Schedule 1? So Schedule 1 is the specifications given by the regulation. If you want to use any paper and paperboard material, so it has to comply with these specifications. Depend on the which type of paper you are using, whether it is a grease-proof paper or normal paper, craft paper, CAB boards, cardboard. So this is the specifications. If you go to those specifications, if you open the specification, so this kind of tests will be displayed. You can see it. Bursting strength, co-op, moisture. So are related to the paper and paperboard, mechanical or chemical properties. Along with this, there is the chemical requirements, heavy metal requirements for the paper and paperboard. So this is the schedule 1. I think I hope you are getting my point. So for paper, schedule 1 has to be complied. If it is the metal and metal alloys, whatever the metal you use for the packaging, food packaging, it has to comply any one of these specifications. Depend on the which grade of the metal, which type of metal you are using. So based on your manufacturing, your selection of the packaging material, you have to comply respect to these specifications. Then if it is a plastic, since plastic has a vast, so big list is given. Depend on the which material it is, PP, PVC, HDP, or nylon, whether it is a film form or bottle, container. So these are some specifications are given. It has to be complied. So all these LDP, film, LDP. So what are the packaging material used for your food packaging? So it has to meet these standards. I think no need to panic. Food packaging regulation, if you type in the Google, it is available. Otherwise, you can visit to the FSSAI site. You will get the free copy of this. All this information is available. If you have will, you can get it. You can go through it. Then if you go through those specifications, these are some of the tests related to the plastics, bottles, ESCR, permanency of pigments, and all these drop test, migration test. There is the film specifications, multi-flow, tensile strength, elongation, because now I don't have time to explain all these things. Because just it's a brief idea, I'm taking you through the regulation, what it is there. Then it is a very important now, recently, specific migration for the plastic material. So these are the specific migration. It has to comply with this under this limit. Then only you can use it for the food packaging. Then these are the schedule 4 is some of the product wise they are giving some category wise. If you want to, if you are going to manufacture for the fruit and vegetables, sell the fruit and vegetable, then what kind of packaging materials are suggested? Then that is given in the schedule 4. I think the schedule 4 of the packaging regulation will be your as a guide or as a manual. What are the product you want to pack? So what kind of packaging materials are suggested? So I think in the regulation we will be getting that. So I think that is very good reference we can get anytime. So this is the some US regulation, that CFR 21 and food and drugs part 174 to 182. If you cover those standards, you will get all the parameters, paper and paperboard and the plastics. Then it is a paper, different kinds of papers. So it is a US guidelines. It is for your information. If it is EU, so nothing but the EU is mostly focused on the migration test. So in our Indian standard, BIS standard, IS 9845, for the migration test, it is in line with the EU 10. So apart from this, all these limits are based on this only we have given that the FSSAI regulation also same table is there. So what is the need? So because here the one more thing is that I think one thing I would like to tell you, just yeah, the printing ink. I think here just for your knowledge, I would like to share one thing. The printing ink, whatever you use it for the packaging material, it has to comply with the 15495. I think for your information, since you are here, so you can get one more diamond knowledge. The as per 15495, the recently the toluene, the solvent, mostly, majorly, it used to be used as a thinner in the printing industry. Now it has been banned now. The toluene is banned now. Toluene you no more can't use in the packaging, printing purpose. So that is for your information. So I think at the last slide, so that recycled plastic is banned earlier, but now recent some amendment was there. So that recycled PET is only recycled PET is allowed. Now that packaging panel has been set, so the one by one they are doing research. So recently the recycled PET is allowed as a recycled plastic, but other recycled plastics are not allowed as per packaging regulation. So as I said that because of the ink regulation, that food contact, the printing surface should not come in contact with the food. So that's why that newspaper is banned. Not newspaper, the wrapping or packing with the newspaper is banned as per this packaging regulation. So that's when wherever you are going, so I think you need to educate others. Any Vada Pav center, any samosa people, don't wrap in the, that is act now. Because that department can take any legal action because that is act. Regulation is nothing but Indian act. It is in line with the act. So papers can't be used for the wrapping of the food because of that printing inks they use, because that heavy metal content will be more. So it is a very overview of the packaging regulation, and you can go through the packaging regulation one by one. So this is the whole content present in the packaging regulation. So I think in-depth knowledge, if you want, at any time you can contact any experts or me also, no problem. So now our concern is that the reuse, recycle plastic. Since now it is a concern, reuse plastics has to be used, recyclable plastic has to be used. That's why now people are switching over to the biodegradable packaging or environmental friendly packaging. So now people are working on it. So in India now there is no regulation, but scientific panels are working on it. I think the nearby future, I think all the regulations, some guidelines will come for those sustainable packaging also. Yeah, thank you so much. I think thank you for your kind attention. I hope I have covered in right.
Hello. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now I would like to request Mr. Gaurav Gambhir to please walk us through your journey. And also I would like you to highlight what are some of the learnings that you have had in your journey of last 20 plus years in the third party contract manufacturing business that you are in.
First of all, thank you, sir. It was mind-blowing and eye-opening for all of us. Thank you so much. So, normally people ask me कि आप private label कर रहे हो, हींग का, spices का, बड़ा easy काम है ये. आपको email आता है कंपनी का, आप माल भेज देते हो, पैसा आ जाते हैं. It's so easy and simple. But इसके पीछे बहुत stories होती हैं, बहुत कहानियाँ होती हैं, बहुत आते challenges which I would like to highlight. So I'll just share a small story with you guys. So I started my business 20 years back when I was in college. I was selling my brand Naya Khazana Hing, Dhulia, Jalgaon, Rao Kila. I was just trying to do marketing. And I thought कि अगर ये मैं कोई product इसके अंदर पेट के अंदर जा रहा है, then it has to be quality oriented, वरना काम नहीं करना है. And FSSAI के norms के हिसाब से हींग 5% alcoholic acid के ऊपर होना चाहिए. मतलब अगर आप 100 किलो हींग बना रहे हो तो उसमें आपको डालना चाहिए 10 किलो हींग, raw हींग. And the percentage comes to 5 above. That is government norm. And unfortunately, that time कोई भी हींग and spice industry they don't need to follow that norms. कि ये सस्ते में बेचना है, सस्ते में खरीदना है. So they were into profit making company. But I thought, I will start my work I'll start with doing thing. But unfortunately, what happened is people कि हमको सस्ता चाहिए. सस्ता मैं आपको दे नहीं पाऊंगा क्योंकि ये क्वालिटी ओरिएंटेड है, ये लैब है, ये वो समझ नहीं पा रहे थे. सो आफ्टर 5 to 8 or 10 years मुझे अपना ब्रांड बंद करना पड़ा. एंड देन आई थॉट कि अभी तो मैं कुछ काम कर नहीं पाऊंगा. देन आई थॉट कि ये जो वैल्यू एडिशन है, गुड क्वालिटी ओरिएंटेड, ये कौन मेरा बायर कौन बनेगा. आई वाज ऑलमोस्ट बैंकरप्ट दैट टाइम. सो 2007 and 8 में ड्यूरिंग दिस ये रिटेल चेन्स आने लगे इंडिया में. Future Group, DMart, Reliance, and they started repacking this chane ka atta on their brand name, base and all that. So I thought, why not I should ask them, to start hing business. So I went to all retailers. मैं बोला कि यार हिंग का काम चालू करो आप, ये तो काम छोटा सा है. Like हिंग का काम, हिंग कितनी बिकती है? क्या होगा हिंग का? मतलब start तो करो. They started with very small MOQ of 50 kilos. 50 kilos से हमने काम start किया. And जब हमने काम स्टार्ट किया उस टाइम रिटेल चेन हमारे पास आए थे. दे टोल्ड मी कि गौरव ये जो आपने कंपनी बनाई है ये हमारे कंप्लायंस में फिट नहीं होती, आपको इसको अपग्रेड करना पड़ेगा. सर क्या अपग्रेड करना पड़ेगा? बल्कि आपको मशीन लगानी पड़ेगी, आपको कंप्लायंस फॉलो करने पड़ेंगे, आपको लेना पड़ेगा सर्टिफिकेट लेना पड़ेगा. ऐसे लोग लेट्स स्टार्ट टू गो नेक्स्ट लेवल लाइक फ्रॉम 50 kilos to 1000 kilos you have to do this. I said okay sir. I won't name one of the retailer. So मैंने अपनी कंपनी को कहा कि सर मुझे लगा 6 लगे महीने. I'll take 6 months to change the infrastructure of my company. I said okay fine. So I took loans and बहुत मेहनत की 6 महीने. उसके बाद आया मिस्टर रिटेलर प्लीज कम टू माय फैक्ट्री. सी हमने सब कर लिया. They came to us. सर अभी ऑर्डर नहीं है. मैं सर आपके बोलने पे हमने पूरा कर दिया काम, लोन ले लिया मैंने तो. So that retailer refused me कि हम आपके साथ काम नहीं करेंगे, हमको ऊपर से ऑर्डर नहीं है कि हिंग में हम आएंगे. I said fair enough. That day I decided there's no looking back. So from that day, मेरी बन गई habit to keep our compliance, our factory very neat and clean. And then I started pitching all the retailers. And today we have all premium clients of India, including DMart, Reliance, Walmart India, and also Haldiram, Mother Recipe, lots of clients. So why I'm sharing this story with you? ये बहुत easy लगता है आपको private label business. It's not that easy. You have to go to lots of hurdles, lots of challenges, from maintaining the RM, from following this FSSAI norms, everything. There's lots of things you have to take care of, and the patience रखना पड़ेगा आपको. मुझे 3 साल लगे एक client को pitch करने के लिए. 3 साल, 8 महीने, 4 साल, and that's how I have tried to make our stand in private label in hing industry. So I don't believe, I believe India is not a country anymore in food industry. India is a continent. India इतना बड़ा है, हर एक गांव में, हर एक शहर में, हर 50 किलोमीटर के बाद आपका टेस्ट चेंज हो जाएगा. Right? You guys agree with me or no? Okay. So when you महाराष्ट्र में आप चले जाओ, बॉम्बे का महाराष्ट्र में अलग खाना खाएगा, नासिक का उसका अलग टेस्ट होएगा, जाओ कोल्हापुर अलग टेस्ट होएगा. So every 50 kilometers आपका टेस्ट चेंज होता है. When it comes to private label of spices or hing, we have to cater full India. So पूरे इंडिया के हिसाब से हमको कॉमन बनाना पड़ता है. The recipe has to customize such a way that कि आपको ये जस्टिस कर सको पूरे इंडिया में हर एक जगह के साथ, नॉर्थ, साउथ, ईस्ट, वेस्ट. That's how we are doing our business in private label. Then we have to launch 3 SKUs, 3 different product. Okay, north अगर हिंग की बात करें, then अग्रवाल्स, बनिया, राजस्थान में जो पंजाब, ये जो सेगमेंट है नॉर्थ का, दे यूज वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग काइंड ऑफ हिंग. ओके, वेरी ग्रैनुअल्स बोलते हैं उसको. साउथ में जाता है हिंग पाउडर जाता है, विच इज दे इन सांबर एंड नमकीन. सो वो लोग डालते हैं चम्मच भर के, नॉर्थ वाले डालते हैं चुटकी भर के. सो फॉर दैट यू हैव टू लॉन्च 2 brands, वन फॉर नॉर्थ, वन फॉर साउथ. सो वी हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट आवर रिटेलर्स वांट, क्या उनकी रिक्वायरमेंट क्या है, हम कैसे उनको हेल्प कर सकते हैं. एंड the manufacturer and the retailer or whatever the company, इनको काम करना पड़ेगा पार्टनरशिप से. यहाँ पे कोई किसको डोमिनेट नहीं कर सकता, neither the brand neither the retailer, because सबको साथ में लॉन्ग टर्म चलना है. So you have to see the market, you have to see the data, you have to understand the taste of people, and that's how we can start private label. So I think Nilesh जी, मैं इतना बोलना चाहूँगा सबको कि private label is not an easy task, जो लगता है, but patience चाहिए. And once you are set with that business, that's recurring business forever. आपको कोई क्लाइंट छोड़ेगा नहीं जब तक आप प्राइस नहीं बढ़ाओगे बेवजह. जब आप क्वालिटी से खिलवाड़ नहीं करोगे तब तक कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं होएगा. एंड टू सस्टेन दिस थिंग यू नीड टू आपका इंटेंशन बहुत रखता है मायने इसमें. पैसा, क्लाइंट, ये सब चलता रहेगा, बट इंटेंशन ऑफ गिविंग गुड प्रोडक्ट्स to our customer and to the consumer, it's very important. This is what I believe when you do a private label business. I think that's enough for the day. Thank you.
Great. The other thing we learned is it's a long journey, right? You said 20 years, ups and downs, but I think never give up is another learning. मैं थोड़ा हिंग पे और थोड़ा रिसर्च करके आया. आपने तो चुटकी और चम्मच का एग्जाम्पल बताया. मैंने सुना है कि दे डू नॉर्थ इज मोर आटा plus hing and south is more rice plus hing. Maybe you can also add because you I think you come from southern part of India. So वो आप कैसे ये करते हैं?
Actually आपने उल्टा बोल दिया.
अच्छा उल्टा है, ठीक है, sorry.
So actually rice based and wheat based. So there's yellow powder and brown powder. So yellow powder mostly Maharashtra and Gujaratis use करते हैं because वो फाफड़ा जलेबी खाते हैं तो फाफड़ा में yellow powder आता है. They can't put brown because brown will look as कि यार इसमें कुछ गड़बड़ है. So yellow powder is milder and India में South India and West, East they use brown powder. And also North, but North में specifically they want that granules. तो जब चल रहा है पहले से वो पीस के डालते हैं वो लोग. तो हर एक का अलग अलग टेस्ट है. That's how we have to make. And say FSSAI norms. We are following strictly FSSAI norms. And you're certified FSSAI. So we have to blend that.
Thank you. And Irmia ji, it looks like a lot of food manufacturers are, to say in a milder way, scared of you. So what you can add, because I've worked closely with FSSAI and a lot of their initiatives, and I've seen that FSSAI actually works as an enabler. Because if India wants to be the food factory of the world, then the regulators have to work such that they enable. And in fact, FSSAI has a lot of initiatives from Food Safety Mitra. I know there's plans to create, they have a training center here in Mumbai. They also have plans to set up an incubation center. So why don't you take this opportunity to, tell others that FSSAI is like a key stakeholder and not a hurdle per se, not someone who's trying to scare, like Gaurav bhai seems to be scared of FSSAI.
I think now, now this, it is very important to know this. The FSSAI has very now, though it is authority, but it is very friendly moving now, very cooperative with the FBOs and all the food business operators. And even any regulation also, it's not made by FSSAI alone. So that the panel members, all the scientific panels, they're all experts from the different scientific research line and the representation from the industries also. So it's all very based on the very friendly nature, and FSSAI has now more than the license part. So other reaching out the FBO, then now it is a great, FSSAI has doing a lot many initiatives like to reach out and educate or bring awareness to the consumers or maybe some FBOs. So FSSAI has been conducting a lot many initiatives like Eat Right Challenge initiative, maybe that all these Food Safety Mitra, there is one scheme that is like employment. There is some development has to be there, but in all these some of the training center, through training center recently 2-3 years back set up by the FSSAI. So many trainings are provided to all the FBOs. Majority of the trainings are free of cost. Again, based on the some technicality, some laboratory people they are equipping. So it's like FSSAI is very moving towards the FBOs, and if FBO is ready to get, if you are ready to get any knowledge, if you want to ready to update yourself with knowledge, so authority is very always ready to keen to educate everyone. And I think now regulations are very simple to understand. Even from our international training center is set up at the Andheri. So all our faculties are from the authority. So I think if you need any, like Gautam just telling, if you're labeling requirements, so whatever you like advertisements and claims, so you need to have some of the basic training or understanding how to, what are the interpretations, then what is the updates. So I think you can be in touch with maybe any of us. You can follow us on that. That will be more helpful.
Thank you. What's interesting is Irmia sir here has worked in industry, and is part of Indian Institute of Packaging and is on deputation with FSSAI. So that's another thing that FSSAI is showing, that they're actually taking experts, they're actually taking a lot of people from the industry. So we should look at them as an enabler, because if we want to compete in the world, I think we need to have standards which will stand up to the world, right? So that chalta hai attitude or cutting the corners, like what Gaurav bhai was saying, ki sasta chahiye, is what slowly, steadily moving away. And definitely, like Irmia ji said here, that they offer so many trainings on labeling. I think he only conducts a lot of trainings on labeling, packaging, advertisement, claims, the other rules and regulations. So we should try to look at them as a facilitator, as an enabler.
I think here I would like to add one thing, because the cost should not be compromised with the food safety. Because nowadays many people, when we meet those people, that vada pav, that street vendors, when we say आप ये न्यूज़पेपर में क्यों रैप करके दे रहे हो, वो बटर पेपर क्यों नहीं यूज़ करते, वो बोले कि कॉस्ट बढ़ेगा, कॉस्टली है. But you can see in the Mumbai itself, earlier it was 7 rupees vada pav was available, but now where that good quality of vada pavs are there, 25 rupees also people are paying it. So that means the cost is not a matter, quality is a matter, and the safety is a matter. So if you increase the level of the safety, if you replace newspaper with the butter paper, if you say consumer, because of this I increase the 1 rupee, they will be happy, I think, I hope, because everybody concerned with the health and their safety.
Correct. And my understanding is that ink that they use on the newspaper is carcinogenic.
Yes, that is a carcinogen, because whatever the ink they are used for the newspaper, because newspaper is not meant for the consumption. It's meant for just simple read, and again they recycle it, they will make another newspaper. But what are the ink used for the food packaging? So that pigment, in the pigment, what is the metal content? Lead, magnesium, this mercury, cadmium. So those levels should be very low as compared to other inks, ink pigments. That's why that newspapers are not allowed, because that ink is not a edible ink. It is not a food safety concern. That's why, so you should not wrap with the packing.
Yeah, I was saying कि आप बात करो वड़ा पाव के जो न्यूज़पेपर है, ये तो बेचारे छोटे वेंडर हैं, and we should obviously inform them कि ये क्या गलत है. There are companies in spice industry who mix brick powder and what all with red chili. I think, what do you think about them? The FSSAI should also recheck everything in spice industry. This manufacturing spice industry, they do alteration in turmeric, in spices, in coriander. I don't know what all them is. In jeera powder, salt is aata hai. So what do you think about them?
I think I will make Irmia ji's life a little easy. See, the current food law is more based on self-regulation. It's not like previously we had prevention of food adulteration. So the assumption was that you and I are all going to adulterate and the regulators are going to stop. Now we are talking about food safety. So in terms of, so the whole idea is on regulation, especially self-regulation. Secondly, we also need to understand that end of the day, the regulators are short-staffed. Like as far as I know, in Maharashtra, the FDA Maharashtra, who's the enforcement agency, has hardly 700 food safety officers. To expect 700 food safety officers to regulate 12 crore population and the food business operators that are there in Maharashtra is a little bit of a challenge. And that's why it's very easy to keep blaming FSSAI, aap ye nahi kar rahe, aap wo nahi kar rahe ho. But that's the ground reality. Maybe because I'm not an official, I can make these statements. You can add to what I had
I'm
just
not blaming, I'm asking questions.
For this adulteration, I think in FSSAI there is one adulteration. Many initiative has been taken. Like there is a pink book is there, blue book is there, the adulteration kit is there. I think if you visit the FSSAI website, so how to check the adulteration? For example, that pepper is adulterated with the papaya seed. Black peppers are adulterated with papaya seed. So visually, physically, if you see it, you cannot identify whether it is a papaya seed or black pepper. But to identify that adulteration, so just we can take a water, like one test I am giving. It's very simple, basic, how to do identify the adulteration at our home itself. So there is videos are available on the FSSAI website. So if, for example, if you take water, if you put pepper, if it is adulterated, the original black peppers will be sink in the water. The papaya seeds will be float on the water. So we can identify it is like original black peppers are very costly, but on the road people sell it for 10 rupees one packet, small packet. So how can it be? So I think that kind of adulteration methods and videos is available on the FSA website. Anybody you can view and you can educate, equip yourself with the different, how to check all the spices, like turmeric, even the chili powder. All the videos are available. The book is available, freely available.
And it is called DART, right?
Yeah,
DART.
DART
And they
book.
also have a kit.
DART book.
The
DART book.
adulteration kit is also available.
So that is very simple methods. Like in your kitchen itself, you can do those tests and you can identify whether it is adulterated or not.
Great, thank you. So we'll open it up to the audience if anybody has any questions. Yeah, only we'll stick to packaging regulation, okay? Otherwise, yeah. And sir will be available after the session, so don't worry. I think we have what, 1 or 2 minutes? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I wanted to understand with this new age packaging coming online, we are hearing about algae-based packaging, cornstarch-based packaging, all these sustainable packaging coming and getting utilized by companies. How are the regulations changing to include them? And how quickly is the process happening?
Yeah, because recently that one more development from the authority is that last year only that FSA has set up one panel, one committee for the scientific panel for the packaging. So that panel is working on each and every, like recently the recycled PET, because of some of the research they have done it, so they have added it. The one by one, I think regarding the sustainable packaging, then all these biodegradable packaging. So there, some of the old Indian standards are available, BIS standards, but still there is some controversial methods are there because it's not, but I think the committee is working on it. I think that's why you can see that change. Earlier packaging regulation was along with the labeling regulation. Again, they separated. After that also so many amendments have come. And recently like inks are amended. Then again the heavy metals, earlier 7 table was there. Now the 2 more added. The recently recycled PET is added. So I think for this, that scientific panel is because FSSAI or any government body, because it's all related to the science-based. Without any science, any research or any basic study or suggested by the scientific panel, so they cannot implement anything. So I think it is the now current scenario, the new age packaging, all this smart packaging is coming into picture. So I think, yeah, it is.
Yeah, so till the time the regulations come online, where does the packaging using the new age material stand? So is it recognized, not recognized?
No, now so far,
legal,
as of now, there is no regulations for that. But only whatever the material you are using, there is some of the standards related to the biodegradability. Indian standards are there. So people are doing tested as per those standards and they are using. But there is no regulation, but it will come.
See, the key is, and sir mentioned, it should be food grade. So that is the key. Whatever packaging material it will be food grade. And he had the complete definition where it should maintain the food safety and also maintain the organoleptic characteristics of the food,
Sure.
right? So that is the key underlining thing, that the packaging material needs to be food grade. That's part 1. Part 2 is, if you see, FSSAI went into effect in 2011. Prior to that, you had a PFA, FPO, and 8 different laws which got merged into FSSAI. They were enacted from 1954 PFA or 1955 FPO. So they existed for 55 years. and they kept evolving. And even if you see FSSAI, in last 10, 11 years, it has also evolved. Now we have regulation like hemp is now allowed, hemp oil, and which was not there 2 years back, right? Similarly, you have now complete thing on the vegan, you have on plant-based. So as the packaging evolves, a lot of these regulations will also keep evolving. So we need to give them time to catch up. And since it's science-based, a lot of scientific data needs to be available to actually for FSSAI to formulate. But they have panelists. They have panels like experts from Indian Institute of Packaging or other experts. So work is always there. There will always be a little bit of a lag between what innovations are happening and what regulations will be enacted. But I can assure you, because I have also been part of some of these panels, so I know, and I represent industry, I don't represent government body. But I have seen the kind of work that the regulators are doing. So I think we'll close, because I think there's another panel after this. And sir is here, both of them are here. He's on stall number 2, booth number?
A8.
8?
A8.
A8. The first stall as soon as you enter, right? A8. Please meet Mr. Gambhir.
सबसे बड़ा stall हमारा ही.
Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a huge round of applause to our moderator, Nilesh, and our panelists on stage? Come on, give it up for them, please. Thank you so much for that very informative session. I'm sure a lot of us have so many pointers that we can pick up from this session. And you have any questions, any clarifications, they are here for some time. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a small token of appreciation. We have a small token of appreciation for each of you. So Nilesh, if you can do the honors of... Come on, everyone. I can't hear you. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, can we have a huge round of applause for them, please?